Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is Hamlet House coming back at you, and this is going to be another gun review that I have of my Stemple 76/45, otherwise known as the Stemple 76W. This is going to be a review of the modern day copy of the Finnish Suomi KP-31. I have not found any reviews on YouTube of this particular weapon system in detail. And so my hopes today are to try to go ahead and educate everybody on exactly what this is and why it is. And obviously, if everybody has ever seen anything to do with an original KP-31, everybody knows that those things go for about $50,000, give or take, on up. There's very few of them in the country. And Brian Poling from Burp Corp went ahead and cranked out a lot of these. I think since back around 2006 or so. And so I went ahead and ponied up and coughed up the money and went ahead and bought one back in 2011. And again, I've not seen, many of these weapons on YouTube. Videos on YouTube. There's been some here and there, but they're very brief clips, nothing in depth and detail. And my goal today is to go ahead and change that. So basically what I'm going to go ahead and do is point out a few of the little bits and pieces of it, if you will. I went ahead and lacquered the stock. I went ahead and put some linseed oil on this baby a couple times, sanded it down, and probably put about 4, 5, 6 coats on it to give it a nice little sheen and bring out the beauty of the stock a little bit. And obviously these are pretty much unissued original slings. And right about here, so there's an SA stamp, SA standing for in Finnish Army. And there's about 11 or 12 inch barrel or so. You have a barrel shroud here, and obviously a 71 round drum magazine, obviously in the weapon system. You have obviously your maker marks, manufacturing marks, and obviously the serial number I covered up. Don't want to let too many people know my business, if you kind of catch my drift. And I'm going to go along and move on over here to the takedown tool that came with it. Basically all this is just a fancy device to go over here and obviously remove this nut. You pop this pin out right here, and basically the entire system comes apart. It's a very simple singularity system to where there's not many moving parts, there's not any major parts, and I can't say I really counted it all, but there's probably only about 6 or 7 main parts of the whole gun. It's very simple indeed. I have over here obviously the live fire barrel, and I have installed currently in the system is I have a blank fire barrel with a muzzle nut, if you will, inside the barrel for blank fire. I am a World War II reenactor, and one of the reasons why I bought this gun is because there are some limited examples of the Germans fighting on the Eastern Front with these weapon systems that they captured from the Russians. In turn, the Russians captured from the Finnish, up around the Leningrad area. And so it's a rarity. There wasn't too many of them, but however, they were around at times. And so with that being said is, again, I want to give a little bit of historical background and significance with this whole deal. And, want to show you the ins and outs with it. Like I said, I have the blank barrel installed right now. This is the live fire barrel presently. These are all my blank firing apparatuses, my BFAs, and different gauges and calibers, to where I can just go ahead with different ammunition and switch out the muzzle nut here and go ahead and start swinging like a champ, so to speak, with the different loads of the blank ammunitions. I did a review previously on that, and it actually worked out pretty well, really, to tell you the truth. Right here we have a takedown tool. This basically goes, once you pop, again, like I said, this pin right here and this nut up here, this takedown tool goes around what I will call a castle nut, basically, and you rotate it and the barrel slides off, and basically you just have the machine gun receiver and the stock and the trigger housing group, over in here. So again, it's a very easy system to get along with, and it's Brian Poling at Burp Corp was an absolute genius when he designed the replicas of the KP-31 because of the simplicity and the reliability of these weapons. It's just amazing. I want to say I paid around $7,500 for all this, and I got the second to last gun that he had in his safe from the corporation when I bought it, and I can say it was a brand new machine gun and never had been shot. Probably test fired, but never owned anyway. So it was kind of like buying a brand new car. Over here, I had the Select Fire edition. Excuse me, not the edition. I have the Select Fire trigger and the actual sear, because I didn't mention this in my previous video, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it now, that Brian Poling from Burp Corp advised me to where when I fire blanks in this gun, because of the way the trigger housing is in the gun, that with blanks only, you have to have a full auto only sear, because it just basically beats the gun to hell, and it just wears the parts out. Eventually will break them, and you're just going to be doing nothing but damage to the gun. And so I went ahead and did that. I got the parts from him. I went ahead and popped out the pins, replaced the sear, and like I said, I did that in my previous video that I did. So when I went ahead and live fire, again, I reversed the process, put these parts back in, and I'm back in the Select Fire business. So it's just his recommendations, and so since he's the one who designed the gun, I assume he knows what he's talking about. So I have over here the user manual that came with the gun, and there's a couple of pictures in here I want to show to you in a second or two, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Here's my ATF Form 4. Obviously, I blotted out all the peripheral information because I don't want anybody knowing my business, as I'm sure you can understand. I said previously, this is a 71 round drum, the finished drum. These go for anywhere from 40 to 50 bucks on Gunbroker. Anybody selling these magazines, they're very good. They're very nice. They come in a lot of times in Cosmoline. You got to clean them out, but it pays off in the long runs. These guns are absolutely freaking amazing, and especially to fire on live fire. So you take care of these, it's going to take care of you. We have over here a 1950s Swedish magazine, I believe, and I want to say it's a 36 round double stack single feed box magazine, if you will. And I've come to find out that these aren't too reliable. I have about 7 or 8 of them, and I want to again say that only about half of them work on a regular basis. So, and again, if you want to portray a World War II sub gun, these aren't exactly historically accurate, because these didn't come around until the 1950s in Sweden. I went ahead a couple of months ago and I ponied up, and I bought a Sumi coffin mag pouch, and excuse me, it has obviously four magazine pouches and 1 loader tool over here on the side, and these are referred to as coffin magazines. These are 50 round box magazines, and I have not had a chance yet to actually shoot them, but from what I hear, they're pretty much just using it, so it's probably good to go. Other than that, guys, again, getting back to my user manual here, I'm going to go ahead and flip to the page here without being too sloppy with the camera viewing here. It goes ahead, and here's actually the takedown information for the actual different parts of the gun. And like I said, there's not too many of them, so it's very easy to understand, take down, disassemble, clean, put back together, and again, you're back in business. And for the selector markings, the forwardmost position is full auto, the middle position is semi-auto, and this tang depressed fully to the rear is safe. So that's your selectors for the system. One thing I did fail to mention with my previous review about the differences between the original Sumi KP-31s and the actual copies from Burp Corp is I forgot to add that right about here or so, on the back of this nut or so, if you can call it that, there's a actual tang. a cocking lever that you pull back and charge the weapon. And that's how the originals work, because like I said, with these copies, there's a cocking lever on the rear side here that you pull to the rear, and it's an open bolt weapon, and so it's not exactly a 100% original copy, but because of obviously the ATF and the current US laws in this country, you can't modify existing machine gun receivers. So like I said, you have to go ahead and live with it. And I'm going to go ahead and summarize and go ahead and close out with these few remarks. And I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe, and always remember and remain behind every blade of grass.